Hey people, how y'all doing today? I'm here at the eye doctor. Went down and got Nate and brought him up here. You know about him, one of the four young guys we helped raise and needed some help and stuff. Call her mom and call me dad. Anyway, I got another good story for you today. This is a wild one. This happened in January 2020. The wife, she's always had asthma problems, almost died from it multiple times. Had a severe asthma attack, and I couldn't get her. Usually I drive her if it's bad, if it's not too bad, I can get her in the car, get her up there before anything bad happens. Well, sometimes just bad at home and have no time to do that. She collapsed in the hallway and I had to give her CPR. Followed him up to the hospital. And I called the ambulance, followed him up to the hospital. And by the time they got there, she was out. And I was there all day. 10:30 at night. I got home, made dinner for myself and my son. He's a 30-year-old autistic boy. Made us dinner, and about 11:30, I was getting ready to go to bed, and had a little voice in my head said, "You need to get up to the hospital." I was like, told myself, "Nah, you're just worrying. She's gonna be fine, And about 12 minutes later, "You need to get up to the hospital," the old voice in my head saying. Not my voice. I've heard this voice before. It saved my life in another story you couldn't hear. Bad cop, this same voice. Anyway, so I waited a little bit longer, and about 12 o'clock or 10 after, something like that, that voice in my head said, "You best get to the hospital now." Okay, I'm just worrying, but I'm gonna go up there and make sure everything's fine. I got a hair stuck in my mustache. There, got it. So I drive up there, get up there 1 o'clock, 5 after maybe, and get in her room. And her room is, well, in a hospital at night, they keep the doors open and they keep the screens partially open so they can walk by and glance in and they can hear if anything's going wrong in there. I got to her room and the door was closed. I was like, that's kind of weird. Maybe they're in there, working on her or something. So I opened the door and it's totally black and it's freaking hot as hell in her room. I mean, it was set on 90 on the thermostat. Anyway, so I opened the door, I walked in and it was hot as hell. I turned the light on and the curtain that goes around the bed was also closed. And that's really strange. They usually leave those open at night also. So I walked over and checked the thermostat. It was still 90 degrees, so I turned it back down to 72. And Susan, on her bed, was laying there, uncovered, totally out, all red-faced from the heat, because, heat and asthmatics does not work together with their medicines. It can flat kill them. Anyway, her right boob, the gown was unbuttoned and folded and laid out nice and flat, like it was smoothed out on her right boob, so her right boob was hanging out and showing. I mean, she's a good-looking woman for her age. So, I wake her up and ask her, what the hell? And she's all groggy from the drugs, and she doesn't know nothing about her boob being out. She doesn't know nothing about being uncovered. She doesn't know nothing about the room being so hot and everything. So, I go out and I call security in the hallway. Then I go back in and I tell her, lay down and pretend you're asleep. And about this time, on her intercom, she didn't call nobody. I didn't call nobody. But a man's voice came on the intercom and said, "I'll be right there," like that. So I said, "Lay back down here. I'm going to turn the light back off. I'm going to close the door back, and I'm going to sit over here in this dark corner." And I did that. And a couple minutes later, a male nurse comes in, opens the door, and stops at the door because the screener on the bed is open, and he can see that it's open. And he sees that her boob's covered back up, and she's covered up in her bed like she's supposed to be. And it's dark in there, and from the back corner I go, "Can you tell me about why her boob was showing and why this room was so damn hot?" And that male nurse, big guy, he's good size, 6'3", 6'4", something like that, and heavy set. He turns around, his eyes get big, and he looks at me. I turn the light on, and he goes, "It must have been the ghost," just like that. And he goes running out of the room. And about 4 or 5 minutes later, security shows up, and I explain it all to them, what happened. So about an hour later, I go back home, and the next morning, well, 6 hours later, I go back up there, and I go to the hospital administrator's office, and he won't talk to me. So I left a message with the nurse, or with his secretary, nurse, whatever, and I told her what happened, and that he needs to come down there and talk to us before I call the news. So he came down there to the room, and we talked, and we told him everything that happened. And he told us that male nurse was a traveling nurse, and he travels all of their different hospitals all around this part of the country. And that his next hospital he was going to was Columbia, Missouri. And he was leaving there to go there just in a day or two. So I told him, well, the best thing you can do is keep an eye on this guy. Because if anything else like this happens, you guys will hear from me again. And didn't hear nothing else about it. And about 2 months later, on the news, there was a report of a male nurse in Columbia, Missouri got arrested for molesting women. And looked it up. It was the same guy. I think what he was going to do, he was going to go in there and he was going to rape her and until she died, because he knew she was going to kill her. There's no way her heart and her lungs could have put up with it. This was right before she had to have a heart valve replacement, and she had to have right before she had to have a bypass, and it definitely would have killed her if something like that would have happened. That's a true story, guys. Ain't that a wild one? So you hear a voice in your head that you don't know. Listen to it. Take care, fellas. Bye.